been about. Couldn't sleep? My heart leapt into my throat as I whirled around, grabbing at the drape. "Craig, you startled me," I breathed, my hand pressed against my now hammering heart. My brother came closer, wearing his own robe over his flannel pajama bottoms and plain white tee. "Sorry, didn't mean to scare you," he said, coming to stand with me at the window. "What are you doing up so late? Early, I mean." "Like you said, I couldn't sleep," I said. "Why are you up? I didn't wake you, did I?" "Oh, no," he said. "You didn't wake me. I couldn't sleep either. What's eating you?" I swallowed hard when the answer popped into my mind. I started. "I guess I'm just having a hard time sleeping when every time I do, I keep seeing Sandra sitting there lifelessly with her head against the beehive dryer. Either that or I keep seeing Larry Reynolds holding that paint can up over his head to—" The words died on my lips, and I couldn't bring myself to finish what I was saying. "I wondered how you were holding up," Craig said with a nod. "I guess it's no surprise that you might be struggling with nightmares after getting caught up in all that." He clapped me on the shoulder. "But it's all settled and in the past now. The trick is not to dwell on these things for too long. Better to focus on the future. Why don't I make us some hot tea and you can tell me about your grand plans?" "My grand plans?" I asked, following after him into the kitchen. He flicked on the small lamp near the window, filling the room with just enough light to see. "Yeah. I know you keep this house, cook, and care for the boys, but you must be a little bored in your free time. Maybe you've decided to take up a hobby?" I leaned against the counter as he rummaged around in the pantry for tea. "I haven't really thought about it all that much yet," I said. "I liked being busy at my old job in the city, but having some time to myself has been surprisingly refreshing, too." He set the kettle on the stove, waiting for it to come to a boil. "I'm glad you've had time to rest," he said. "Life is a lot different here in Cobbsville than in Liberty City, I'm sure." "Vastly," I said, watching as he grabbed a pair of mismatched mugs from the cupboard, setting them up ready to be used. "For now, I think I'm just going to sit back and see where my interests take me," I said. "I think that's wise," he said. After a few minutes of silence, the tea kettle began to whistle. Before it could grow to an ear-splitting shriek to wake the boys, Craig snatched it off the stove and filled both our mugs. He passed me one of the steaming cups. I took it gratefully, clutching it between my surprisingly frigid fingers. "Think we're settling into the cooler autumn weather for good now?" I asked. "Or are there any more warm hurrahs left up here in the mountains?" "Maybe 1 or 2 days," Craig said, blowing on his steaming cup, leaning against the countertop beside me. "But I do think we're in for a cooler winter this year." "It's been a while since I've been through one of those," I said, sipping some of the herbal tea with care. Silence descended again as we savored our drinks, but it was a natural, comfortable kind of quiet. I felt myself beginning to relax. Maybe I will be able to sleep in a bit after all. "Well, I'm going to go lie down again and try to rest for a little while," Craig said. "You should try again to get some rest too, okay?" "Right," I said. "Thanks for the tea." He raised his mug as he headed back out to the living room. "Thanks for the late-night company." I watched him walk out of sight, and then my gaze fell on the living room window again. I could just make out the top of the Fosters' house, as dark as if it were entirely empty at this hour. As I headed back to my own room off the kitchen, I told myself I was really too tired to care why Vicky had been secretly burning papers in the dead of night. It couldn't be anything important, could it? Chapter 2. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me!" I snatched the skillet off the stove, smoke billowing up into the hood vent, swirling around the ceiling light until it was nearly opaque. The bacon hissed and popped, some of the oil glancing off my skin. I practically threw the sizzling pan onto the stove, some of the grease sloshing out of the side and spilling onto the counter. I stared at the mess in disbelief. How had that happened so fast? Bing sang lazily on the radio in the background, lyrics which I had just been merrily reciting while waving my spatula around in time to the beat. That had only been where part of my attention had been, of course, since the magazine that lay spread out on the table had claimed most of my focus. I had started to read it when I noticed that the department store I had worked for was mentioned as being one of the top destinations in Liberty City for fashion moguls.